Hey, what's going on, everybody? So we're out here again at the quarry today, and we are doing a tire shootout. So we already ran the J Concepts in the last video with these single stage JCI foams. So I threw on something on here that a lot of people are familiar with, which is the VXT2. So these have been scrubbed in, they've been used a few times. They've been simple greened. So we're gonna put them up against that 1.9 Rupture, and we're gonna see if we can tackle some of the obstacles that maybe we couldn't get this thing up before, and see if maybe putting a single stage in here makes these a little bit more compliant compared to the two stage they came with. So stick around and let's find out. All right, let's run these VX2 or VXT2s through this course here. Look at the tire doing some work there. Oh, again, camera watching. Ooh, that rock's a little tippy. So I happen to be of the opinion that these tires are pretty good. There's a couple knocks on them, like they're really thin. So you can tear them, and I've personally had that happen to me. Wow, that was super impressive. So just looking at these tires, you can tell a lot of what happens is the tire gets caught somewhere, it gets kind of bound up, and then it begins to twist. And so you can see this one is still kind of like that. This one has the markings of it twisting and contacting in a few spots. So it's like they get some stored energy almost, and then it breaks free, and then it goes forward. So these are pretty sticky, not so much now that they've got dust on them, but when they were clean, they were very sticky. Look at that. Okay, let's keep running the course. So, I mean, what we're seeing today is part of the reason why I haven't gotten rid of these tires. Because every now and then I strap them on and I get reminded of probably why these are the kit tires. Because they're pretty versatile. Oh. Just gonna test your tires, see if you got good bite in your tires. So I think if we had the foams dialed in, it would do a better job. The 2.2, I think there was more carcass. It could bite a little bit easier. Let's see if it does a better job than this same wheel tire foam package than the Rupture did. Yeah, I think this is where a drop in the front weight is really hurting us. I think if we had more front weight, these would probably do it. Let's just go try putting a finger. I know a finger. So if I push on it just a bit, not a lot, just a bit, she'll go. Hey everybody, so we're back from doing our tire CompAir-O between the Vanquish VXT2 and the 1.9 Rupture. You know, it's pretty obvious that this is a more aggressive tire. You know, your tread carries over quite a bit further down the side of the carcass compared to the VXT2. And then let's just take an overhead profile here. So let's see. Tread depth, I would say, is negligible. I think they both have roughly about the same tread depth. We already did the pinch test on this, but we'll do it again. And then let's check these. You know, if anything, I would say the Vanquish is a little stickier. So let's talk about the pros and cons, in my opinion, of these. So, pro for the Vanquish, it seems to perform pretty well on a variety of different surfaces. I tried it on the indoor course, on the outdoor rocks, like we just saw there. It does pretty good. Negatives. So another pro, you know, kind of 50-50, we'll say, is with it being so thin and sticky, you know, it can conform to rocks really well. It can grab. It seems to work very well in vertical situations, but that's also a negative, and therefore they're prone to punctures and tears. So now let's talk about the Rupture. It has a overall stiffer carcass versus the Vanquish. So what I'm meaning by that is this can support some weight with a really light foam. Whereas if you put a really light foam in here, it's basically just going to squish the tire. So if we were to have put these two-stage pit bulls in these, they would just be unusable basically. So because these are stiffer, you can tune a little bit more with them. They do also conform really well to the rock. And with there being some extra tread on the side, you can find some grip where maybe you're unable to find it with the sidewall on this guy. So another possible negative that doesn't seem to impact us here is, from what I understand, in some 1.9 classes, these aren't allowed, whereas they will allow the VXT2 because they're rated at a 4.75, even though we know that these are a larger diameter, but the Rupture is just not allowed. But it's the tire of choice where we are. Or, there's a variety of J concepts, but they seem to be the tire of choice to work in our so I think it's pretty obvious which one I'm going to stick with, right? We're going to stick with the setup that's on the truck now. We're just going to try and dial in the front a little bit, as I was talking earlier. Like I said, I like to keep these around just every now and then, kind of throw them on just to kind of compare them to something else. And then one last thing, with them being so soft, you get a lot of sidewall movement with them. So that is good and bad, but when you start getting into really bad scrub angles like that, that can be a problem, especially when you're trying to be real precise. So thanks for following along. I hope that this is some valuable information for somebody. And don't sleep on these, right? These have all been simple greened, and we saw how capable these are. But just to show you what a real performance tire can offer you just from one brand. There are many brands out there. But you guys take care.